Welcome to part 2 of Meet My Horses. This is an exciting one. This is Max's edition. It is quite a long one, not gonna lie, because I have had him for quite some time. So I found an advert for Max on some Facebook group by his owners of the time in July 2020 for a lease. Now it did say experienced show jumping homes. For some reason, I just thought I'll try my luck and I will apply. I was pretty lucky because Max's owner actually followed me on Instagram, so she was keen on me trying him. And this is obviously my very first time trying him the day I met him, and not gonna lie, I thought, nah, this is never gonna work. This horse is way too educated for me, way too confusing for me, because he is. He's genuinely the most confusing, complicated, put together schoolmaster. He was an established 120 show jumper and state champion New South Wales and everything, so he bloody knew everything and had all the bells and whistles, but I had no idea what I was doing, as you can see. However, for some reason, I was very lucky that his owners were happy with me to take him on, and I'm so grateful for that day. So I commenced the lease on him, and quite quickly, I actually did learn his buttons. It took a couple of weeks, but during lockdown, which is when this was, I had a lot of time to do that, which obviously was on my own, but it did give me a lot of time after and before and during online school to really get together and gel. Now, I've got quite minimal footage as I couldn't find it all on my phone. However, we did have a couple of competitions whilst leasing, and then I think maybe I had him for a year or two during, again, COVID and year 12, so I didn't do a whole lot. Unfortunately, it came to a time where his owners wanted him back and decided they wanted to compete and ride him. This was a very devastating time for me, as I'd become very attached to him. I always knew this day was going to come, but it was very hard. However, ended up they weren't clicking as much, and I was offered him back to buy. I never thought we would actually get him. Here's my mum and sister surprising me with him, because mum ended up buying him for me, which I will forever be indebted to this. It was mum who really made that decision in the end, because he was way out of our budget, and again, his owners were so lovely because they knew I had had him for almost 2 years, and because we had clicked in the end, they were happy to lower the price significantly for us. So that was, I would never have been able to, or my mum would never have been able to afford a horse of his caliber, so I was very grateful. After I finished school, I really dedicated a lot of time to competing Max, but again, keep in mind, I did all of this without any lessons. I did not have the time or money, so to say, to get lessons. I didn't have the education about, obviously, how important they are. I do now, but I did all this on my own. I really wish I didn't, but I did. So you'll notice that I have times of confidence and lacking confidence because of something that's happened. Max would refuse to jump, which he never does, and I've gone flying off. So you'll see there in those previous videos, I was a little bit sticky and backing off a lot. However, then we got to this point where everything just clicked. Again, I don't think I was having any lessons at this point, but we were winning everything. So we moved up from 80 to 90 and then 90 to a meter, and I was just so happy because I'd never competed anything like this before, and it's not that big to most, I know, but to me this was huge. I'm pretty sure this is my first 1 meter class. Again, obviously a bit nervous, but he just held my hand the whole time. I think we won like every single class for 6 months. I remember there was just a point where we were just going at everything, and it was just the most amazing feeling. This was my first a meter at Bonio in the main ring, and I think we came second out of 60 riders, and I think this is one of my biggest achievements because I was terrified to ride in this ring, because the first time I ever did on Max, he refused like literally everything because I was so nervous and I had no idea what I was doing, and that was my very first competition on him, when the 90 centimeters used to be in the main ring. So yeah, I got really lucky that we just were absolutely amazing at this point. Everything was going so well. I was just putting a lot of time to competing and riding, but again, didn't have the instruction, which I really look back and think I wish I did. As I said, this horse is a well-educated, well-schooled, amazing horse who, would jump anything from any point, saves my butt and everything. You will see, like, you turn him on a dime and he's jumping what's in front of him. You bury him and he will always get you out. Like, he was just so reliable and so amazing. But it meant that the times that something would go wrong and he would stop, my confidence would go out the door, like, completely. And it would take months to recover from that because it was always such a dirty... It happened, like, I think twice at 2 Bonios where he stopped and it was dirty stop, and I just went flying, and that just kills my confidence a lot. I really have such a big anxiety about horses stopping at jumps. but for the most part, and most of our ridden career together, he didn't. Now, this was our very first 105. My goal the whole time I had Max was always just to do 105. He was older. When he was younger, he did, of course, do 120s, but I'm so uneducated, I'm so inexperienced, and he was, I think, 16 at this point, and he had been competing since he was 4. I found out he did a meter 20 when he was 4 going on to 5. So, you know, he had his long shot. I always knew I probably wasn't going to push it because I'm not that rider, and also I wanted to be kind to him. He didn't owe me anything. He just literally introduced me to the world of show jumping as I used to event on my pony Romeo, but then we leased him and I just got this taste for show jumping I never had before. So that was our 105, which obviously was a bit sticky, but we got through it. Unfortunately, this day is when I think I had my very last competition on him. I had no idea that was going to be the case, but I did an 80 and 90 and this happened, and obviously back to the drawing board was really hard. And I did figure some stuff out, and I thought I'm going to make it back with him. But unfortunately, time and life just got in the way. Because I had no time and I moved interstate with my partner, I then leased him out, which was a really hard decision. And sadly, it ended with him doing a tendon. So you would have seen he was lame in a previous clip, but this is him today. No longer lame, he's happy, but he is unfortunately retired. I did not have the time to rehab him whilst I was interstate. So I just made that decision to retire him. The only other goal I ever have for this horse is to ride him down the aisle. I've told everyone that. Otherwise, he owes me nothing. He has been my absolute best friend through a lot, and I'm so grateful that he will be in our paddocks till the rest of his time. He's also the reason why I love greys.